Good morning, everybody. We are alive here. We are alive here right now in LinkedIn Audio Room and in Facebook in the radio station HOD Radio Network, World Network. Thank you, everybody, joining today. Today is the beginning of the month of September. And today here in the US also is Labor Day. So for all those workers that here in the US and other parts of the world that celebrate the same day, congratulations. Today is your day. Maybe you're in your house staying resting. So thank you for those that are joining today this show. We're going to be talking about a topic that is a very interesting topic that is called how you can cultivate a growth mindset as a key to become a successful leader. This is something that for me is very important. So we're going to be giving time to the people to begin to join the stage. We're coming to receive people coming to the stage. Thank you, the people that are beginning to join the stage. We are opening the session today, talking about how you can cultivate a growth mindset as a key to become a successful leader. This topic is a very interesting topic. I was saying to the people that are joining the event now that today here in the US is Labor Day. So for those workers, even if they are working by their own business or if they are working to as co-dependents to other companies, thank you for being here because today is a day that they're off, they're in their house. So thank you for your hard work. This topic, I'm going to give you some minutes to give the opportunity to the people to join here. Before we begin to talk the topic, I want to give a little share. Hello, Mirjana. The mechanic we're going to do is that I'm going to open the mic like in 30 minutes. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you the mics like around in 30 minutes. So the people that want to join, they can raise them hand today and maybe now, or in 20, 25 minutes that I will be giving the opportunity to the people to talk. So be patient. Okay, what I wanted to say is that before we begin to talk and giving the opportunity to the people to join the room, this this weekend for me was really very important because I'm in this leadership and resilience role as a coach, and I also have been doing motivational and leadership speaking. And for me, this is a recent path in my life that I decided to pivot my career because my career, I really did it in the corporate world in leadership positions. But now that I decided to to train others, to teach others. One of the things that I always are talking about is how you can unleash that inner force that you have inside yourself. What I call that unbreakable spirit. And for me, this weekend was something really, I'm going to share with you, was really like magical because I'm a man of God, and this is, by the way, HOD is a Christian channel. I'm a man of God, and I have been getting more and more involved in my church. So I decided with my wife, we began to do a leadership seminar in our church to become leaders of our church, but based on leadership principles, you know. And this weekend we had a retreat and part of the retreat, they were talking about how you can make the connection through the body, to the soul, and through the spirit to make the connection with God. And for me, that was really, really powerful, the message we received this weekend, because that is exactly what I have been talking about, how you can unleash that inner force that you have inside yourself, that leadership inner force that you have inside yourself, but always with the grace of God. So that is so important, always with the grace of God. And in the retreat we did today, this weekend, with our pastors, that was exactly what they were telling us that the human being, that you are composed of these three entities, because you're a spirit that has a soul that is in a body. So your body is your manifest to the earth. But when you make the connection between your soul and your spirit, the soul is in between, and it's like the liaison between the body and the spirit. But when you make that all the path through to the spirit, there is where you make the connection, and there is where you unleash that spirit that you have inside yourself. And that is part of the tools that really today we're going to be talking, because part of the growth mindset is this extensive debate that always is being, if you have to have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. I remember, before we start to talk about the growth mindset, I remember that some time ago there was an event here in LinkedIn, and one of these audio rooms, that somebody invited me. I don't recall who was, but the topic was that what was the best mindset, a fixed or a growth mindset. It was a debate. There was a debate there about the importance sometimes to have a fixed mindset and sometimes the growth mindset, whatever. And I remember that it came a lady to the stage that she was in the military. And of course, as a military, she said that in the military, sometimes you need to have a fixed mindset because you have to follow rules and procedures. And that's true, but in the normal course of life, in the normal course of business, today in any activity, you really need to have a growth mindset. And I was telling her there in that event, because I was not supposed to speak, but when I heard that, I said I want to give my share. And what was my share? I'm a guy that I come from a third world country. I come from Venezuela. Venezuela is a third world country. Even in the past was a wealthy country. It still is a third world country. And when you come from these third world countries, that can be Latin American countries or Asian countries or African countries or wherever they are, sometimes there are two things that for me, sometimes I laugh about this because it's so true. Having a growth mindset and thinking outside the box is the normal course of doing things there. Because in these countries, you need to have a growth mindset, because there's no other way to survive if you don't have a growth mindset. And thinking out of the box is mandatory, because the box doesn't exist. There is no box. So these are two tools that for these type of countries is kind of part of their culture, having a growing mindset and having a mentality, thinking outside the box, because if not, they will not survive. So when you hear these debates in the first world countries, it's because maybe you take many things for granted. You take many things for granted. So the discussion that we're going to open today is exactly about what is a growth mindset. What are the main characteristics of the growth mindset? How you can become a growth mindset leader. We're going to put some examples of that, and then we're going to open the mics. I see some glitches in the stage. Dr. Rashad, I see you going up and down. I don't know if you want to wait a little, and then, because it's giving glitches. It's putting back and forward you to the stage. Something is happening there. Let's see how we fix it. Okay, so before we continue, I'm going to say thanks to the people who have been coming to the stage. We have here Mirjana. We have here Michael. We have Dr. Arshad. We have Shirley. We have Terrence. We have Warnish. We have Chanel. We have Dr. Marcia. Thank you, Dr. Marcia, for being here. She's a Christian leadership too. Holly. We have Michael. And we have Tamim here. And we have here in Facebook, we have Kimuri. We have Sylvia. We have Linda. We have Dijan Van Gogh. we have Daniel, and we have Erickson. Thank you all the people that are coming to the event. The people that are new in the event, I want to mention how is the mechanic of this show. I write a newsletter every week during the weekends. My newsletter is called Building Resilience. And the way I do is that I talk about leadership and resilience. And I always talk a particular topic and always try to maintain the people engaged with trending topics like this one, growing mindset. Last week we were talking about ethics in the leadership, and we have been talking about servant leadership. We have been talking about purpose-driven leadership. So we are trying to develop all the topics that people sometimes hear and doesn't know what that means, how you can become one of these leaders. So the way I do is I publish my newsletter in LinkedIn. So I encourage the public to, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my newsletter, because what I do is that I give the opportunity to the people that read my newsletter, and then on Mondays, as of today, I'm here located in Houston, so I talk about that topic in this show. This show, the way I do it is I air it simultaneously, like you are hearing me here in this radio station, HOD Radio Network in Facebook, and at the same time in a LinkedIn audio room. In the LinkedIn audio room, I give the opportunity to people to go to the stage and speak. So I talk about the topic, and after I talk about the topic is that I decide to open the mic. So this is the way that the mechanic is going to go. So thank you for those that have come later. I see Lisa, I see Alan, I see Michael, I see Charito. Thank you, Charito, for always being so supportive. So let's begin. Let's begin to talk. So what is a growth mindset? I'm going to try to dissect it in the 5 main characteristics of what is considered to be a growth mindset. A leader that has a growth mindset, the first thing that he does is that he embrace the challenge. So any leader that is considered has a growth mindset always embraces the challenges, because the leader that embraces it doesn't see the challenge as failure or setback. They see the challenge as opportunity to grow. So this is fundamental. They never see the things bad. They always see that thing about the glass half empty or half full. The leaders that have this mentality always have look the glass half full. They never see this thing in the bad way. They always see this in the positive way, because they try to stay away their comfort zone, and they are looking for new opportunity to grow. So this is fundamental, because this is the way that a leader understands that he can learn and he can improve. So this is fundamental. So anybody that wants to be a leader has to get out his comfort zone. The only way you can grow is accepting challenge, is provoking the challenge, is embracing the challenge, and never stop doing it. This is the first thing that you have to do. Another thing that a leader that has a growth mindset always is persisting in the face of the setbacks. Never see the things as finished. Always is failing and bouncing, failing and bouncing, failing and bouncing until he gets success. So any leader that wants to be considered as a growth mindset leader is those that don't see the failures as failure. They see the failures as opportunities. And they encourage all their teams to do the same, because they lead by example. They become role models because they have persistency. They view the setback as temporary setbacks, but they always learn from their experience, and that becomes their path to success. Those leaders that embrace this characteristic are the leaders that really will inspire their teams, because the people that will see them like a model to follow, and this is something very important, because sometimes when you are in a company that is very successful, you don't know the story of the people behind that company. So one of the key things in that leadership is to be enough vulnerable to share the story, how he got there, to their employee, to the people. The people can understand that he was not always all the time there. He went through a lot of setback before he went there. So this is the way that people will get inspired, that because you will say, oh wow, if this guy could make it, I can make it. So this is very key in anybody that wants to be a true growth mindset leader. Another thing that a growth mindset leader does is always has the effort to the path of the mastery. So a growth mindset leader never accepts the mediocrity, always is looking for the excellence. The effort is essential to grow. So this is something very key. Always is working hard, working with dedication, and working with consistency to be a master on those skills, and that will lead to the success. This is something very important that I want to say here, because there can be a confusion between the mastery and the perfection. And this is something that maybe you can agree or not agree with me. In my particular case, I'm not a perfectionist. By the way, I hate that perfectionist, because I believe that when you try to be perfectionist, you will never be there, because perfectionism doesn't exist. Always will be room to improve. So what I was trying to say to the people about, I was talking about the importance of the growth mindset. And I was talking about the main characteristic of what is the growth mindset. So said that, we were saying that one of the importance of a growth mindset, the first thing is to embrace the challenge. So a leader that really wants to have a growth mindset has to embrace the challenge. That is kind of one of the key characteristics of a growth mindset, that embraces always the challenge, because the leader doesn't see the challenge as failures. They see as opportunity to grow. So this is one of the main importance of this. Another thing is that always is bouncing back during the setbacks. Doesn't care how much time he fails, he will always go up. This is very important, because a leader that embraces challenge and always is bouncing back, it becomes a model to the others, because the people really will follow him, because he will be seen as a guy that is persistent, that will never stop and persist. I was telling that one of the main, I believe, is main mistakes that some leaders do is that when they are successful, they don't be enough vulnerable to explain to their peers, their colleagues, their employee, how they did to get there. Because sometimes when you are vulnerable and the people know where you come from, that inspires the people. Knowing that you come from a place that you had a lot of challenge, but you made it. So this is very important. Another thing that I was talking about, and that is where I was there right now, the effort to the path of the mastery. This is also something key in any leader. People are hearing me, Alison, correct? Alison, are you hearing me?
Yes, you're very clear, Jose.
Okay. Because the first time, sorry, I was talking hello. Okay. The other thing is the effort to the path of the mastery. This is very key. You know why it's very key? Because a leader that really wants to have a growth mindset has to have that clear understanding. They have to work hard. They have to have dedication, and to have a consistent effort to have a mastery in his skills that lead him to the success. But here, this is something that I want to be very clear. Mastery doesn't mean to be perfectionist. Because mastery is that you want to be really excellent. But perfectionism is another thing. Because sometimes the people that are perfectionists are always trying to do the things that they believe that it's going to be perfect, but nothing never will be perfect. And sometimes when the people are perfectionists, they feel depressed because they feel they have failed. So mastery doesn't mean perfectionism. A leader has to be a hard worker and dedicated, but doesn't mean the leader has to be burned. So there has to be a clear differentiation between the mastery and the perfectionism. So this is very important because you don't want to overwork. You want to be a hard worker and dedicated worker, but you need to have a perfect balance between your life and your work. So this is very important because there can be a confusion here in this. And a leader also needs to accept the criticisms, the critic. This is something key. People sometimes have a very sensitive skin. They don't accept critics. A true leader welcomes the critic and value the critics because that allows them to grow, because they can understand about the feedbacks and they can feel areas there they are weak and there are areas they can improve, and they can turn those critics in something that can allow them to have a personal and a professional growth. So this is key. A leader needs to accept the critics and have to understand the critics and to have the empathy to accept that he can fail. That is part of his self-awareness. And that the last thing that a leader has to do has to inspire others to be successful. Not only him, he has to inspire others to become successful. So this is very, very, very important. I want to say here, give the thanks to many people that have come to the stage. I have here John, I have Alan, I have Shirley, Charito, Terrence, Mirjana, Lisa, Eric, Dr. Rashad. Sorry that I saw that you were sending me a message that I was not aware. Lady Drew, Michael, Indira, Alfred, Dr. Ayo, Togola, Platin, Andrew, Villan, Carol. Thank you for being here, because today here in the US is a Labor Day, so it's difficult. Some people sometimes want to sleep late to the room. We have here Sandra also in Facebook, Stenmert. We have Lorraine, Estevet, Esther, Elena. We have Anel. We have Helet Van Nienerk. We have Corey Lee. We have Bear Belcher. We have Leanne Campbell. We have Abusha. We have Amanda Bosch. We have Ambity Venter. We have Antoine Perkins. We have Jenny Kruger, Sandra Jeppe, Kathleen Matthew, Jonathan Van Deer, Gina Jover. Wow, a big crowd. Kubus Groberlayer, Tina Oliver, Petra Luke, Elena Monsmek, Mandalita, Bishu, Andy Kiwari, Keiki Moore. Sorry if I don't pronounce well. Sylvia, Linda Erickson, we have Van Gogh, and Daniel from HOD Radio Network. I encourage the people that are in LinkedIn Audio that I have this event also in Facebook. I leave the recording in Facebook. I'm trying to put it in LinkedIn, but of course, always in Facebook, the recording will be better. So thank you for all the people that are today here, because we have more than 20 people in here in LinkedIn, and we have around 30 people in Facebook. Every time I leave the recording, I have received more than 1,000 views. So it's really interesting. This the people really are engaging. And again, any topic that somebody wants to develop, just DM me, and we can talk about the topic. I'm gonna be bringing more people to the stage, like I had last week, my friend Indira. I will be inviting, and most of you guys are great guys. I will love to have you here in my show. I have a guy that I invited when the hurricane bear hit it here, Houston. We had to cancel. Maybe he's gonna come to my show in 2 weeks. He's a very interesting guy. A very interesting guy that I want to have with me here. Well, so now talking about the growth leadership, how you can become a growth leadership, because how can be one? Because I'm a guy that always have had a fixed mindset. How I can transform my fixed mindset to a growth mindset? You need to have you have to first understand that you need to change the way you think. You have to have a lifeline learning approach. So you need to understand that you need to learn. You need to open yourself to learn. And this is something very important. People sometimes have their ego that doesn't allow them to learn. There are some leaders that believe they know everything. I've seen people, and this happens also even in the politics, that people think that they know everything, that you're smart, that you know everything. And that's not true. That's not true. A leader always has to be humble and understand that always there is a way that he can learn and he can improve. So this is something important for a leader. A leader has to practice the self-reflection. If you really want to become a growth mindset leader, you need to practice the self-reflection. What that means? That you need to understand why you fail and why you were successful. And if you fail, reflect what were the reasons, what were the lessons learned, and learn from there and move forward. And move forward. If you, for example, sometimes the people think that when you fail in a business, you had a bankruptcy or whatever, sometimes the people think that is all. And that's not true. There's much more to come. I remember this weekend, I had the opportunity to hear, I went to a retreat this weekend in my church. We were talking about to become leaders, you know. And my pastor, he was talking something about that he was seeing in many of the people that they were there in the church, because they talked with him, that they think that they're done. They failed 1 or 2 or 3 times with their business. They believe that they will never be successful, and they fail, and then they're done. And he was telling to these people, there's always more opportunity, because what God wants to do with you is that you become successful. Because God created us as a perfect creatures. Remember, we come from the heaven. We were perfect creatures that for some reason that sin and we begin to have failures. But in a sense, we become as a creature of God that is perfect. So we really have the tools to become successful, but we need to believe it. We need to believe in ourselves. So practicing the self-reflection is a great way that you can really understand why you failed, what were the reasons, what were the mistakes you did, what you have to correct for the next time, and move on. Move on. You need to seek always with constructive feedback. When I said that you needed to be open to the criticism, the critics, that is true, but you have to be also careful where the critic come from, because sometimes people are not doing a fair critic. Let's be honest. Sometimes the people don't like that you become successful. Sometimes the people hate the other people to be successful. So you need to see the critics, see the feedback, but try to understand where they're coming from. If this is really a constructive or a negative feedback. Let me tell you, there is something very interesting. Sometimes when you're having negative feedback, it's because you're doing the things okay. Sometimes when the people are criticizing you, it's because you're doing things okay. So you need to understand and have that feedback, but need to know where they're coming from. That's very important. That's very important. So don't be shy to ask feedback, but actively see the feedback, but try to see the source where it's coming from. And I'm not saying to only hear good things. I'm saying that you need to have people like your peers, like your mentors, like your team members that can help you to with a feedback to that you can learn and grow. Here I'm gonna say that's why it's so important having mentors and coach. People sometimes doesn't like to invest in themselves. And this is important. If you're in a leader position, it's even more important. You need to invest in mentor, in coach, people that can give you ways to improve. For example, I'm a leadership coach, and that is exactly what I do. That is exactly what I do. Because you have a fresh view, you can see the problem of the other, and you can help them. You can help them. You can see where their problems are. You can see how they can improve. So mentorship is so key. I'm going to say thanks. Wow, it's coming much more people to the stage. Thank you. I have here Sanel. I have Esumi. We have Carol. We have Rachida. We have Hanon. We have Vigyan, Andre, Platin, Tegola, Michael, Indira, Alfred, Dr. Ayo. Dr. Ayo, thank you for coming. Wonderful guy. Lady Drew, Dr. Achad, Luisa, Alan, Shirley, Charito, Terren, Mirjana, Lisa, Fabric, Michael, and a big crowd also here in Facebook. A lot of people. Thank you for being here, all the people. So continue to open the mics in a few minutes. The other thing that a leader, if you really want to be a successful growth mindset leader, you have to encourage the growth culture. What that means, that you really need to foster that in your business. You have to lead the people to always be thinking how they can improve, how they can learn, how they can experiment to do things different. You need to celebrate with your employee their success, when they become successful, when they have a progress. And even if in some companies you can even set a monetary recognition, and maybe a recognition in the company. You know, do a business meeting and do a recognition, or do a party to recognize the people. So you have to put that part of the culture of your company. So that people need to understand that a part of the culture of your business is that you have a growth mindset culture, that you really are not only embrace it, you celebrate those efforts. And then you have to set that as part of your goals. So you have to establish as part of your goals, have continuous improvement, continuous growth. That will challenge you to adapt to all your employees to that mindset. So set this, if you embrace all these things that I mentioned here, like adopting the lifelong learning approach, having a practice self-reflection, seeking constructive feedback, encourage you with a growth culture, and setting this as your goals in your business, you are gonna become a real leader, embracing the growth mindset. So before I give the mic, so the people can begin to okay, I have people coming. Okay, I'm gonna conclude saying that there are several cases study about companies that have done this exactly. They are part of their culture. When I did my research, one of the companies that is very successful doing this is Microsoft. Microsoft is what it is because he's the CEO of that company is a guy called Satya Nadella. He's a guy that he's a quite of a guy. He's a guy that has practiced the servant leadership the purpose-driven leadership and the growth mindset leadership as part of the culture of the company. That's why Microsoft is what it is. Because one of the things they do is they have, as part of the culture of Microsoft, is establish the culture of the growth as part of the success of the company. And they measure it. They have KPIs to measure it. And they always are focuses that people learn and how they can collaborate to, if they are not, how they can become growth mindset leaders. So they lead for always thinking innovation in the company, and that set a standard in the industry. That's why you see always Microsoft with new development, new tools, because that is part of their emphasis. So these are a great example, Microsoft. And I'm going to conclude here saying that if you want to know more about this topic, there's an author called Dr. Carol Dweck, with a D, Dweck. Dr. Carol Dweck is a renowned psychologist, and he's a professor of Stanford University. And he wrote a book related to the growth mindset. It's called Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. So if you want to know more, you can go, and this book is in Amazon, the growth mindset. By the way, talking about books, I for the people of Facebook, the people listening doesn't see it, but I have here my book. My book also, I'm promoting it also in Amazon. My book is the book of my story. It's called From Hero to Villain. It's based on my story of being the hostage and how I decided to survive, and all these things that today I talk come from my survival experience that I put in my book. So if you want to know more about stories of resilience and how you can have setbacks and be successful, that's part of my story. So I encourage you, if you want to go in Amazon, or you can go to my webpage, Jose Connect, the links are there in his Facebook, that you can go to my book. So going back to Dr. Carol Dweck, his book is called The Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, where he talks exactly about this. So said this, I'm going to begin to open the mics to the people that came. I'm going to give, okay, let me give first to Mirjana. Then we have Anjan. Then we have Dr. Assad. Lady Drew. Anjan, the mics are yours. Anjan?
Am I the gentleman you're calling up, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Greetings, Mr. Jose. Let me start with a question. This is going to be an information for me. I am on a professional assignment to assess audio events. You mentioned in the beginning something which caught my attention. The quality on Facebook you find is better than LinkedIn. I am a little curious as to, if you said this must be a reason, and I think I need to know this reason so that,
I lost this guy. We're going to continue here because LinkedIn is having some problems with connection. He was talking, for the people of Facebook, he was talking about the problem that LinkedIn is having too much glitches. So really, it's unfortunately it's happening. Let me open it here in the computer. Okay, we're going to continue here in Facebook because LinkedIn, for some reason, went out. And the topic that we're going to following is related to the growth mindset. And I'm trying to open the mics but LinkedIn kicked me off for some reason that I don't understand. It kicked me off, and that's why the people get out. So let's see how I can reconnect LinkedIn here. I'm trying to make the connection. Please be patient. Let's see if it allows to the connection.
To be
Okay.
something which should be of any concern if the top-notch leaders are, considered enough. And my last point is growth mindset. I invest 1 million to start a business, not knowing whether it will pay me, say, even 10,000 a month. If I were an employer from Mr. Oze who had invested, I would be guaranteed, say, minimum at least 5,000 bucks a month. Multiply that by 12 in a year, I'd be making 60,000. Whereas Mr. Oze, if he runs the organization very well, it would, give him good returns. However, the vagaries, the uncertainty, these are facts which one cannot determine. And hence, I have always advised in my management lectures that keep your budget realistic. Don't overdo it. I mean, you want to reach Microsoft, you cannot. You cannot. No matter, even if you're the sheikh of the Middle East, you cannot. So I think for the masses, be realistic with your investment, have a growth mindset, look for smaller gains, workable gains, and they always multiply. So that's my small bit to initiate with. Best wishes, Mr. Jose. And I would like you to kindly invite me for your Facebook audios. I would myself would like to understand because I'm paid for these services, and I would like to justify and understand, this subject which you just mentioned. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Oh, thank you, Angel. Of course, I'm going to invite you. Yes, let's get in touch to do I have booked like the next 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe we can do it for October. Let's be in touch. And yes, you were really. That's why I wanted to be cautious because the people had to have a perfect balance, and this is very important. When we were talking about the leader that is seeking for having a growth mindset, always looking for the excellence, and always having a hard work and all this stuff, that is true, but always has to be a perfect balance. Because again, perfection doesn't mean that you are excellent. Doesn't mean that you're perfectionist, and being a hard worker doesn't mean that you overwork. Always have to be a perfect balance. I heard that Dr. Achat yesterday in his room talking about that. I don't know who was mentioning that you need to have a balance between life and work. So this is very important. Mirjana, I open the mic to you. Mirjana.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jose, Mr. Angel, Dr. Arshad, Lady Drew, Mr. Sanel, and Rashida, and all 20 people I see in listening area. I really loved what you were talking about, and this speech reminds me on characteristics of wise people, and that is something that I know for years and trying to, let's say, get in that stage. And I will say what I know about 10 characteristics of wise people. At first, sorry, prudence in speech. Second is ability to listen. And third one is patience. The fourth one is open mindset. The fifth one is empathy. And the sixth one is self-restraint, if I say it correctly in English. Control over your emotions. Mm-hmm. That is the meaning in critical situations, let's say in that way. The seventh one is calmness, and the eighth one is discrecy. The ninth one is learning from experience, and the 10th is modesty. And when you think deeper around these characteristics, you can get everything you mentioned, and I believe that is a way path how you can grow your mindset. And one more thing about from my professional side, I wrote all my comments in the on this event on LinkedIn. I cannot follow it on Facebook. I explained what I see and I don't like it. Innovation and everything around innovation is these days connected with the real disruption. And I don't like it. I just wanted to say it. In Serbian, we have a saying, the road to hell is paved with the best of intentions, sometimes you think that you are doing the best, but you don't see something that is clear to other people. Let's say let's say it in that way. That is the meaning of it. So be patient and open-minded to understand why some things are happening. So let's say in that way. Thank you very much for bringing me at the stage and letting me to speak.
Okay, Miliana, thank you. Thank you very much. For the rest of the speaker, we have 10 minutes, so let's try to give chance that everybody can speak. Dr. Arshad, mics are yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jose. One word about becoming a perfectionist is I learned because I was working with an automobile factory, a Japanese automobile factory, and ISO 9000 was just about introduced at that particular time. I was running the operations totally, sales, materials, operations, HR, marketing, everything. And quality assurance was not under me. And therefore, I learned at that time that, you see, it was when ISO was brought in, we had an Irish company teaching us. And they, in fact, involved us in perfectionism. And that became part of my leadership policy. In the corporate world, that is what is inculcated in you. And then when I took over a large pharmaceutical factory, a big global multinational company, I even, made it grow into another factory for animal health besides human health. I became a perfectionist. And that is one thing that you had just brought up. And I find that you have to lose it. Because later when I turned professor, I just could not sit in my drawing room if a picture was slightly crooked and a guest had arrived on the scene. I could not talk until I had actually straightened out the picture. and I found that I was losing my family orientation. So that is the distinction that I would like to say right now. And since we are short of time, I had something more to say, but I don't want to disturb your show from that angle. So that is something that I thought it was very necessary to bring it in. Thank you so much.
Dr. Rashad, wonderful chair. I was laughing because I come from that place too, so that's why I'm encourage the people that really. Sometimes when you are so perfectionist, you lose the preciousness of the things. I'm not saying that you don't want to have the things done right, but sometimes when you become so perfectionist, you lose the sense of the small things. And today, because I came from this dramatic experience that I came through, Dr. Rashad, that I begin to look things totally different. And today I tell the people, that's why when I begin to talk, I say, I don't know if you agree with me. But for me, the excellence is okay. But when you are so perfectionist, and I was laughing when you were talking about the picture, because I did the same in my house. When I saw a picture that was crooked, I was like upset. And that leads you to, to think that you need to be more aware about your simple things in life. So thank you for your share. It was really, really wonderful. Really wonderful. So let me give the mics to Sanel. Sanel, please, go ahead. Can you unmic, Sanel? If not, Rachida. Rachida, can you unmic?
Yes, good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for having me here, Jose. I want to elaborate on your topic of mindset, growth mindset. I've been reminded of my psychology class, college psychology class, that mentions something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And one of the stages of these needs is about building the self-esteem with human connection and growing and learning and creativity. All of that has to feed into it. And you can't just embrace that part of it and ignore the other part of it of like not going after your daily needs, like daily bread, daily water, good sleep, good exercise. It has to be all of these different aspects comes together to make the whole version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And it's not easy. I know that. We're always striving to improve something as humans, but I'll talk more about this with my audio room with Dr. Anjan. Anybody's interested, I can put it in the comments of this event so you can have a link for it if that's okay.
No problem. Share it. Everybody has a book or the event or what to share. Feel free to put it there. By the way, connect into each other, because I have found that for me, this room are becoming great because I'm having new friends. Like, for example, Dr. Rashad. I'm so glad to have met this guy because it is an amazing guy. And Indira, that is in the stage, that she's a wonderful person that I have met. So connect each other. Lady Drew, my good friend, the mics are yours.
Hello, everyone. You all know me, Wonder Woman with a Siamese cat personality. You're all in my prayers. Thank you, Jose, for the wonderful event. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I've traveled around the world. I was originally from London, England, and Europe, of course. And, I've always had a love for learning. Many of you know I don't give opinions, I only give facts as to how they are today. When they change, of course, I'll change. But you got to have a passion for any and everything you do, and always keeping a positive mindset. Don't be afraid of someone being critical in a respectful manner, because they can see things that they may know, even though you may know. As my grandmother once said, let's put it this way, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There can be you being excellent at what you're doing. However, don't ever, like Jose is speaking, do not have your ego. Ego is okay. So always be open-minded, ready to learn. My best way of learning is that I go to people that know more than I do. When I learn from them, I thank them, and I give them a hug and kiss and say thank you. As now for my next step that the heavens want me to go to, I learn from those that are even more knowledgeable in the areas I need or desire, and I learn from them. So, it's not a matter of somebody being critical and being ugly about it. It's a matter of someone being critical meaning they fine tune what you already have and help you develop it stronger, better, and even different ways of doing it. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, everyone. And y'all have a wonderful week. And I love you all. Blessed be.
Thank you for the sharing. By the way, I'm gonna say to the people in Facebook that I have here, because I saw that many people are coming. I have a Priya Lee, thank you Priya Lee, Minda Crunchy, Teresa Wall, Karonsi, we have Jonita Kissinger, we have Leonie Horn, Helen Marie Rosov, Daline Bernardi, we have Nikki Watanier, Johnny Van Rugen, we have Mark Paul Espinola, Linda Johnston, Lina Martin, Susan Stein, Marlene Scholz, Kathy Peterson, Aline Bota, Anita Williams, Anita Vanger Wills, Kini Constantine, Mini, much more. On Facebook, I'm surprised how many people are connecting. We have also here in LinkedIn, Dr. Allen, Sue Dennis, Carol Tagola, Dr. Ayo, Charito, Erika, Andrew, Sumay, Vivian, Shirley, Terrence, Michael, Tracy, Tasama, Indira, Risha B, Clement, Kimberly, Lady Drew. I believe we have like 60 people or more around at this moment, and thank you for all that have been here. We're gonna finish in 2 minutes. Sanel, I don't know if you have the opportunity to talk, or you can add a mic, because I see your face, but I don't see you connected. So sorry, maybe next time. But concluding this show, because we have only 2 minutes, I had to honor the hour I have fixed in the radio station. So we're going to be closing in 1 minute. I want to conclude saying that continue supporting me. I'm doing, as I said, a weekly newsletter. Subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to leave the link there of my newsletter, so you can read my comments during the weekend. And every Monday at this time frame, I do the show. I'm gonna be inviting people. Many of you that are today in the States, I'm gonna bring them invited to the show to have the share. And I always open the mics. I want to hear your opinion, because this is part of what the leadership is, having the feedback of the people. Anybody that wants to contact me directly, you can DM me in LinkedIn or in Facebook, the same. You can go to my webpage. There is joseconnect.com. In my webpage, you can find everything about me. I have there my coaching program where I talk about this. I have there my speaking gigs. If somebody wants to invite me to any other event, I have there my book too. And I have also my newsletter and all my social media. So said this, we're going to finish now the show, because we are coming to the end. Thank you, everybody that came to this show. So you can open your mic to say goodbye, and we're gonna go to finish in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.